Welcome to Yoga 77. My name is Jackie. We'll begin this practice in a seated position. So you might be cross-legged, you might be legs in front, kneeling. You might even like to bring a block in if you have a block. And you could even be cross-legged on your block so that you allow your hips to be a little higher than your knees. And just take those little movements to settle into your seated position. Might take some rolls through your shoulders, forward and back. Just noticing how you've arrived for your practice. Just allow that time to begin to settle in. And so you might keep a soft gaze, eyes might come down towards the floor, or you might choose to close your eyes and just start to notice your breath. Just notice your inhale, notice your exhale, and start to tune in to the rhythm of your breath. Notice if there is a rhythm. You might hear your breath. You might notice the temperature of your breath. Your breath might feel a little uneven or tighter or restricted, or it might feel more open and spacious. And just allowing the space to simply notice your breath without having to change anything. And just begin to let go of any preconceived ideas about your breath. Just notice your breath. And a sense of curiosity, but at the same time a sense of kindness and knowing that that is your breath, and that's okay. And as you bring your awareness to your breath, you might start to gently encourage a little lengthening through your breath if it feels a little shorter, but without forcing it. And if it's available to you, you might be breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. If that's not available, just breathe in a way that feels right to you. And then feel free to add in your arms. So on your next inhale, bringing arms up and overhead, gaze might come up or not. And then on your exhale, let the arms come down. Let's take a few more like this. You might take a little pause at the top of your inhale, maybe for 1 or 2 counts, before you exhale. And your exhale might be a little longer than your inhale. See how soft and light you can make the arms, the hands, your fingers. Start to notice if there's any tension through your shoulders, through your neck. And just try to invite softness. Again, that sense of creating space to let go. Just beginning to let go of anything that doesn't serve you. Maybe taking another round or 2 of movement through your arms. Once you feel complete, just let that settle. Might have palms up or down, whatever feels right. This might take some movement through your head, your neck. Just checking in, notice if there's any tension that's lingering there. Nice, and then we'll come off the block if you're using it, and we'll straighten through the right leg and keep that left foot tucked in. Now if it just doesn't stay tucked in, you could have the leg out front, leg bent. Could be a little straighter. find that comfortable seat, and then just find those adjustments so you can sit somewhat tall on the sit bones. And again, if the leg doesn't come all the way down, you could even bring your block under the side of your left leg. Let's check the right toes are working towards the ceiling in that direction. And again, extend out through the arms, add a little bit more length through the spine. Beautiful. And then we're just going to reach over to the right side. So you might come down to the floor. You might bring your hand towards your foot, but try not to pull into it. Try to keep that sense of softness through the shoulders, through the neck. So the upper body is staying soft, almost like you're just using the weight of your hand, your head to invite the length down the left side of your body. You might even just take some little movements coming in and out. If you prefer stillness, go for it. Otherwise, just see what happens if you invite these little movements coming in and out. Just notice what's happening to your breath here. Try to keep a sense of softness and flow. Beautiful. And then we'll come back up through center and just take the arms the other way. And again, you might take the time just to come in and out of this shape. You might prefer stillness, but notice if you come into stillness, if you start to tense or tighten, try to keep it soft through the neck, through the shoulders, soft fingers. Couple more breaths here. And it might be your inhale, come back through center. Just take what you need, and then finding length through the spine, and we'll take a rotation towards the left side. So you might take your gaze out over your shoulder. Again, just checking how that feels through the neck. Let's try to keep a sense of softness. Again, if it's available, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Beautiful. Come back through center. Come into a cross-legged position. Again, just take any adjustments to find that space. And then we'll take that on at the second side. So just bringing the left leg out. Again, you might tuck the right foot in. You might bring the block under your leg for some support. Or you might choose to have that leg more bent. Sole of the foot can be on the ground. Beautiful. And then we'll extend out through the arms. And then we're going to take that reach over towards the left foot. So a sense of lifting up through the right hand. Eye gaze might come up. And you might take the hand to the sole of the foot or your toes or your leg, maybe down to the floor, maybe on your thigh. Just notice where it feels best for you. Where does it feel supportive and safe? Somewhere where you can encourage that length. And again, you might be taking those little movements coming in and out. Might prefer to come into stillness. Beautiful. And take your time to come back through center. We'll simply take that to the second side. So again, a sense of lifting up, creating space between the ribs, through the spine. Again, just check in with the neck here. You might tuck the chin in a little. And you might even just bring a little bit more softness through your face by just popping just a gentle smile on your face. Just notice what a difference that makes in the way that you feel. A couple more breaths here. We'll come back through center, maybe on your inhale. Beautiful, and then taking that rotation towards the right side. Again, try to think of length through the spine, almost a lift up through the rib cage. Again, we'll come back through center. Come back into cross-legged. Beautiful, bringing the arms out. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Then we're just going to take a reach up and out on the right side. Again, you might be working with that coming in and out movement. You might prefer stillness. Let's take it to the other side. Again, think about lifting up. See if you can notice the connection of both sit bones to your mat. And then just noticing that length, again, a sense of lightness and lift. Beautiful, take one more to each side. Nice, and we'll come back through center. And then bring your feet in front of you, hands behind or slightly out to the side. Fingers can be turned out. And then start to ground down with the soles of your feet. And maybe start to bring the buttocks off your mat, hips towards the ceiling. So you can come up as much as you like. It might just be a little bit. Head might come back or not. Just be wary of your neck there. And then lower all the way down. Beautiful, and then from here we'll come back into our half straddle. See if you can leave the fingers behind, connected to the mat, and then start to bring your heart space forward. So eye gaze comes down, lengthening through the crown of the head. Beautiful, few more breaths here. Noticing the length through the spine, drawing the shoulders away from your ears. Beautiful, and then come up just enough so that you can bring the left leg out into a full straddle. The legs don't have to be straight, they might be bent. And then we're just going to tilt forward again. And you might not come very far, that's okay. Try to keep the fingers connected to the mat. And then you're tilting forward from your hip creases. So eye gaze is down again, lengthening from the crown of the head. Trying to keep the back of the neck nice and long. Again, see if you can be soft through your breath. Keep the shoulders soft. Beautiful, and then come all the way back up. Bring the hands behind you and then draw the shoulders down and back, so opening through your heart space. You're very welcome to take the head back a little further, but just notice how that feels through the neck. Just notice that space across your front body from one shoulder across to the other. Again, just notice that space through your heart space. Again, that space to allow you to let go. Beautiful, and then we'll come back up, bring the legs in. And we'll take that same lift, so grounding down with the soles of the feet. Beautiful, spread the fingers wide. Make sure it's supportive before you start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Nice, you might use your exhale to lower back down. Beautiful, and then we'll take that half straddle on the second side. Again, take any modifications with the shape. You can use the block. And then fingers behind, again, we'll come into that forward tilt. So again, think more about reaching forward through the crown of the head, bringing the chest forward, rather than coming down low. So think about that length and strength through the body. Again, creating space through the hips, through the vertebrae, the spine. Beautiful. And then again, coming up just enough so that you can bring the right leg out. And again, coming back into that full straddle. Again, as much bend as you wish through the legs. Again, coming in, keeping the contact of your fingers behind you. So you might not come in super far. Might be a little bit more space the second time though. Beautiful. And then once you feel ready, you might bring the hands, the forearms in front. And then once you've found your shape, just let the head be heavy. Might take some movement through your head, side to side, and just to allow length down the back of your neck. And we'll stay here for a few more breath rounds. And when you're ready to come out, just make your way up slowly. And if you'd like to stay longer, just pause the video, stay a little longer. And then we're going to come down onto our backs on our mat. And if you've got a block with you today, just bring that by your side. And just rolling yourself down. You might bring legs in towards your belly, take some little rocks side to side, just massaging out through the sacrum, through your lower back. Might take circles through your hip sockets, just circling one leg one way and then the other, switching direction. Just letting that all settle, letting it all go. Again, you might choose to close your eyes down so that you just start to become a little bit more internal. Notice what's happening inside your body. Any feelings, any sensations. Just noticing how you're feeling. But again, a sense of creating space to allow yourself to notice without judgment. So again, just letting go, inviting that sense of okayness. Beautiful. And then bring the feet back down to your mat. Come into constructive rest. Beautiful. And then a couple of options here. You can come into regular waterfall without the block, just bringing the feet up towards the ceiling. And if you do have a block, the option is to ground down with the soles of your feet, and you're going to lift your hips off your mat, slide the block under your sacrum. Just checking that it's comfortable. You can always have a blanket on top of your block or a towel. And just bring one leg up at a time towards the ceiling. Let's check the first one feels stable. Just take your time coming up. If it doesn't feel right, just bring one leg at a time down. Reset the block. And then once you've found your waterfall and the legs feel like they are supported, so they're just really soft, drawing down and back into your hip sockets, and then you might bring the arms up as well, palms facing towards each other, and again the arms drawing down and back into your shoulder sockets. So let the fingers be soft, toes soft, and then feel free to stay in your waterfall for as long as it feels right. It's a beautiful pose to come into, to down regulate, to settle. But it might not be a shape for you. Also, again, just knowing that is okay. And so you might feel ready to come down. You might lower your arms one at a time. And then just bring one leg down at a time. Just connect each foot with the earth, with your mat. Just let that settle once you've arrived down. Otherwise, you might stay for a few more breath rounds. Again, if you'd like to pause the video and stay for longer in your waterfall, you're very, very welcome. Otherwise, just lowering one arm at a time. Just reconnect with your mat, maybe palms down, arms by your side. Then just bring one leg down. Just take your time, reconnect the sole of the foot to your mat. Notice that connection and then bring the second leg down. And again, just take a moment to let that settle, take a pause, maybe some just little movements side to side, regaining that connection of the feet evenly on your mat, and then ground down with both feet evenly. Slide the block out from under your sacrum. Slowly come down. Beautiful. And then you might bring the feet out wide and let the knees knock in together. Nice. And just finding your shape that works for your Shavasana. It might be legs extended long. You might keep the knees knocked together. Just allowing your practice to integrate into mind and body. You might bring the arms a little wider. You might even shine the palms up towards the ceiling. Just allowing a little bit more space for your heart space. And start to soften your eyelids. Eyelids might be closed. Soften the little muscles around your eyes. Just let that softness radiate out to your eyebrows, to your forehead, to your temples, to your cheekbones, your cheeks, to your jaw, your teeth, your tongue, to your throat, your neck, down to your heart space. And just notice that space and softness in your heart space. You might notice a warmth, maybe a glow through your heart space. And just let that radiate through your whole body. And we'll be here for 1 more minute. Shavasana. And take your time to bring your mind back into your body. You might bring some little movements back in, maybe wriggling your fingers, your toes, maybe turning your head side to side. Just taking whatever you need. And then you're very welcome to stay if you've got longer. Otherwise, just making your way slowly into a seated position. So you might just roll yourself to one side. Maybe take a little pause before you come up into seated. And again, you might use your block to be seated on. You might come into cross-legged, might be kneeling, you might sit on a chair, you might stay laying down. If you've chosen to be seated, just find that length through your spine. Just take a moment to acknowledge your practice. You might bring hands to heart center, just taking that idea of creating space so that you can let go. Just bringing that back into your heart space, just sitting with that. And then we'll close with a shared breath. If you'd like to join me, just bringing arms up and overhead on your inhale. Allow the palms to meet and exhaling through your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, your evening. Go well. Namaste.